and bombers. The B17 then taxiing out to the end of the runway, ladies and gentlemen. Another piece of nostalgia for you, the Sally B. Of course, the
chairman of the US Air Force and the US Army Air Force who gave their lives in the Second World War.
Here it is. Listen to that sound, ladies and gentlemen, as it rolls. 4 Wright Cyclone radial engines, each producing 1,200 horsepower. A magnificent sight, and the reason it was called the Flying Fortress, of course, the thing is absolutely, and you can still see that today, bristling with guns, no less than, I think, 13 machine gun mans that were designed to cover every possible angle of attack. And I guess when you sat there, and Pete, I simply, whatever else, I could never have been a bomber pilot. I could not have sat there as those boys did in their sort of earthen jackets and wait to be shot at.
Yes, it certainly required nerves to keep yourself on the, not only fight your way all the way through against the enemy fighters, but also maintain that steady bombing run with all the ack-ack going around you. And then initially to do it in daylight, flying those formations, meant that fighter escort could be provided for the B-17s, flying their daylight bombing raids deep into the heart of Germany. And it's such a raid that we're actually going to simulate now. So imagine that you are perhaps at the German ball bearing factory at Schweinfurt, which the USA Army Air Force actually mounted several raids against, and that was really deep out to the eastern parts of Germany. So they had to cross vast areas of enemy territory, being preyed on by the Luftwaffe fighters, not only on the way there, but also, of course, on the way back as well. So just when the bombs have gone, the job is still only half done. Now you can see the bomb bay doors are open, so the aircraft is lining up. In reality, they'd be a lot higher than this, and the ack-ack would be exploding all around the aircraft. Enemy fighters would, of course, have left the aircraft to the anti-aircraft artillery. So now bomb doors are open, the bomb aimer's lined up, he presses, the bomb's gone, there we are, and we...
Wow, look at those
great
go.
hits on the dispersal area there.
Outstanding, ladies and gentlemen, outstanding, and all done with chalk and fertilizer.
That was quite spectacular explosions just with one aircraft.
The guy that's filming is actually extremely good. I was flying through one of his explosions recently for the, in fact, for the History Channel, History of Explosives. BDEF, Golf Bravo Echo Delta Foxtrot. That's the 12,731 Flying Fortresses built. And Sally B is just one of a mere handful of survivors and the only airworthy B-17 in the United Kingdom. And she's a rare and unique part of our aviation heritage. A living reminder of the courage and sacrifice of the men who flew such aircraft as these from bases in East Anglia during the Second World War. And I know that in many ways people talk and there are jokes, you know, they're over here, overpaid, oversexed, but it was an extraordinary alliance across the Atlantic.
Visit the stand at the show. Obviously you can help by joining the Sally B Supporters Club. Something which actually looked unlikely last year when the Eurocrats decided to impose insurance limits on this aircraft as if it were a large airliner, which looked for a while as if Sally B would actually be grounded, but with the intervention of some sponsors, including Sir Richard Branson and the insuring agency taking a different view as to what the interpretation of the laws looked as if it would be literally, it meant that Sally B was actually able to make some limited flights last year and is now back in the skies again in the proper fashion.
Extraordinary. I mean, how are we held to ransom by these bureaucrats? What is it? Is it another example of the proto-fascist bourgeois pigs committing liberticide across the face of the earth?
That's easy for you to say, Brendan. The irony of it is, actually, if we think of the... let's not get too political here, but if we think of the European Union, we often think that the French are real drivers behind it. And, of course, there is a B-17 flying in France, Pink Lady.
Absolutely.
And the French actually took that typical Gallic point of view. They shrugged their shoulders and said, it doesn't apply to us, and carried on flying.
She was driving the news.
So coming in now, we've got the aircraft's cleaned up, the throttles are open, a nice low high-speed pass from the right. What a great photo opportunity this is.
Right. Said she decided not to go for the Dublin anymore when she thought she was doing 175 miles.
somewhere out the back there, ladies and gentlemen, as part of this scenario with the B17. As you know, I'm sure, one of their many, many escorts on those long range bomber raids over Germany, the P-51D Mustang. There in the overhead is the Sally B, and we will be waiting for Ferocious Frankie, one of the old Flying Machine Company's aircraft. That's Ray Hanna's company, from up at Duxford.